What's up everyone, this is Tony with JRNYcrypto. In this video we're going to be going over the crypto markets. We do have another leg down today around $41,500 Bitcoin. We do have some huge news. I do want to talk about Ethereum and Cardano and some other big news with big institutions and banks getting into cryptocurrency. Some huge news here. We're all going to talk about the prices of the markets right now as well and where things are headed. So before we get started, I do appreciate if you guys like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and hit the bell to be notified for daily crypto videos. Alright guys, so I haven't done a video update in the past few days, so we do have a lot to talk about, big things happening in the crypto news. I do want to talk about Cardano and Ethereum 2 updates coming, some cryptocurrencies I'm bullish on, and where I see things headed in the short to midterm, so big update in this video. So we do have another dip today, but Bitcoin is still holding above 40,000, definitely a good sign, major support around 40,000. If we do crash below that, I think that's going to be very temporary, which is why I'm going to be setting limit orders for Bitcoin and some altcoins. Bitcoin below $40,000, so around 39 and 38,000. I would put some limit orders to pick up some Bitcoin in case we do have a flash crash and it immediately recovers above $40,000 again. So Ethereum is below $3,000. I do want to talk about that. I'm very bullish on Ethereum for end of year and for the entire next year as well. ADA is still very bullish on this. We just had the Cardano summit. I will talk a little bit about that. I will be doing an entire separate video on Cardano again, just going over everything to come and my thoughts on the price of ADA and my strategy going forward with this as well. So we still have a lot of very bullish altcoins in the top 100 that I do think have a 3 to 5x potential or even more by end of year. If we do get Bitcoin and Ethereum continuing in a general uptrend, and we do get these breaking their previous all-time highs, or if we even get a $100,000 Bitcoin by end of year, I do think some of these altcoins in the top 100 that haven't rallied yet, that do have big updates coming and will have an increase in demand, will see massive return on investment, much more so than Bitcoin, Ethereum, Cardano, and other top 10 altcoins that have already surged. So I did a video going over some of these recently. If you want to check that out, I do recommend that. I also have a cryptocurrency guides playlist you guys can check out in the top right of this video, going over my entry and exit strategies and how I invest in the crypto space for long-term success. Lots of great value there, so I do recommend that. So I quickly want to go over the Bitcoin charts here, some stuff I do want to point out and talk about, and what I do expect to happen in the short to midterm for Bitcoin and the entire crypto space as a whole. So the market did bottom on July 20th when we did have that B-word event, Elon Musk and Jack Dorsey talking. Some big announcements in that and some good news following that. We did get a lot of greed in the markets. We broke out of that accumulation phase here, which pretty much followed exactly to the Wyckoff accumulation schematic, which is crazy because that actually played out exactly after the Wyckoff distribution schematic directly before that. Some people claiming that we're actually in a distribution schematic here again, but I don't believe that. So this is not going to continue forever following this exact pattern. So right now we do have Bitcoin holding above 40,000. It did test it very briefly here, bounced back, testing $45,000. So it does look like we're going sideways in this channel between $40,000 and $45,000 now. We do have a lot of fear in the markets. I will talk about some news with this, my expectations. But in general, things are very bullish for end of year. As you guys saw in my last video, I'm extremely bullish for end of year, more so than ever before. We do have massive upgrades coming for Bitcoin, Ethereum, huge things happening for mass adoption as well. So I do think we're likely to hold above $40,000. If we do drop below that, I think it's going to be very temporary, which is why I'm setting limit orders here around $38,000 to $40,000. I do think we'll quickly bounce back into the 40,000 range and then continue upwards towards end of year here. With bullish upgrades coming and huge things for mass adoption as well. So in my opinion, this market correction does look healthy, especially after so many green days since July 20th. After we did have that accumulation phase here, I do think a correction like this is expected, especially with regulations and all the bad news going on right now as well. Lots of fear in the stock market, which is not helping this and is kind of dragging down the crypto space with it. If we do get a stock market crash, we are going to get a crypto crash as well. So something else I do want to point out here, the market did start correcting and dipping on September 7th. Today is September 28th. So less than a month there. Before the markets really rallied, we had a similar dip after a huge rally as well. As you guys can see, before the massive rally to Bitcoin breaking all-time highs and in that distribution event, We did have Bitcoin have a pretty big rally here, going from around $15,000 all the way up to $40,000 in a short period of time. Of course, rallying that quickly, you're going to have corrections along the way. So that did correct here to $30,000, briefly dropping below that here, as you guys can see, but making a recovery after this, and this was less than a month as well. So it does look like something similar to that, especially with how bullish things are. I do think something similar will play out here, where we do start moving sideways here, possibly testing 38 to 40,000, continuing upwards towards end of year. So that's just my personal opinion. This is not financial advice, but I do think this is more likely than not to play out in the crypto space and the crypto space to be moving as a whole. But like I said, if the stock market does crash, we probably will crash back into this accumulation zone here, which definitely won't be good, but I do think that would be temporary as well. As things start clearing up and things are bullish, big upgrades coming, big updates for mass adoption, I do think we will be recovering out of that again. All right, guys, so jumping into the crypto news, signs of fear emerge as Ethereum price drops below $3,000 again. So this is causing some fear with Ethereum. I'm actually pretty bullish on Ethereum though. Earlier this year, I wasn't as much, but I am getting more bullish on this. I did do a video recently why I think Ethereum can break $10,000 by end of year. Lots of big things happening for this, finally getting institutional adoption, big upgrades with Ethereum 2 coming, Ethereum layer 2 solutions on the horizon, which is going to be huge for Uniswap as well as NFTs. Really dropping those gas fees is very important for the Ethereum network. So that would be very bullish in my opinion, depending how low they get the gas fees. That would bring a lot of the money back from some of these Ethereum competitors back to Ethereum. So that's the thing, a lot of these Ethereum competitors have rallied so much because Ethereum gas fees are just out of control. At peak times in the market, when we do have peak FOMO, gas fees over $500 per transaction. So I do see if they are able to fix this with layer 2 solutions, which are very close to being implemented, then I do see Ethereum pumping and a lot of money flowing back from alternatives like ADA, Solana, Avalanche back into Ethereum as people get bullish on that. So another article here, Ethereum 2 moves closer to fruition as devs set Altair upgrade for October. So we do have multiple phases of Ethereum 2 rolling out over the next year or so as it transitions into proof of stake, which is massive as well. So Ethereum's transition to proof of stake continues with the first mainnet upgrade of Beacon chain scheduled for late October. So hopefully there aren't delays with this. I know they've had trouble with this. They've been delaying Ethereum 2 for years. We finally got the first phase 0 of Ethereum 2, which does allow people to stake their Ether tokens, but not many people are actually taking advantage of this. A very small supply of ETH is actually being staked, and that's because it is being locked up, and people just want their cryptocurrencies liquid, especially in a market that's very volatile right now. So I'm still very bullish on ETH for end of year. I'm currently just lending my Ethereum in my BlockFi account for around 5% passive income. And this does keep my Ethereum liquid in case I do want to buy some new NFTs, or I do want to buy an altcoin at a random time. I can take that Ethereum and do that at any time. So if you guys do want to get signed up for BlockFi, start earning passive income on your cryptocurrency, there is a link in the video description to get signed up with that. And you can get up to $250 Bitcoin bonus by signing up with that link. And then you do start earning passive income on the cryptocurrencies you deposit as well. I just checked my BlockFi account. I've earned around $4,000 passive income in the last 6 months or so. All right, guys, so a lot of people have been asking for a Cardano update. I will be doing an entire separate video on this, going over everything that happened at the Cardano Summit, big announcements here, my price predictions for ADA going forward, my plans going forward for ADA as well, and just discussing the blockchain in general. So some news here, Cardano's Alonzo hard fork was a success, but real utility could be a while. So we do need third-party platforms and cryptocurrencies to develop on the Cardano blockchain. That's the thing. Ethereum has been available for years. Platforms have been developing and are much further ahead, but with the benefits of Cardano now, a lot of new platforms will start developing here, especially because Emergo announced a $100 million fund for this, which is huge. So I am still bullish on ADA, just staking that, earning 5% on that again, and contributing to the Cardano blockchain network. So Cardano to enable new DeFi stablecoin with CAUDI. This is an altcoin. A lot of people are bullish on that hold ADA as well. I have previously talked about that on the channel here. So Caudy previously partnered with Cardano stablecoin hub Ardana to bring decentralized stablecoin payments to ADA Pay. So a lot of third-party platforms will be getting developed on Cardano. Hopefully we get a quick OpenSea alternative for NFTs on the Cardano blockchain. That's the big problem with these NFT alternatives with low gas fees, is there's just no platform like OpenSea that does offer NFTs for Cardano or Solana yet. I did actually hear that OpenSea did add support for Solana. I do need to actually check that out. I do think they will add support for Cardano eventually as well, which is going to be huge for Cardano NFTs. So like I said, I will be doing that video coming up. I've just been very busy and out of work over the past couple days, but still holding out on ADA, still very bullish here, and big things coming for this. Like I've been saying, when ADA gets that supply shock, when all of these platforms are building and supplying liquidity, that's when ADA is going to surge in price. That's when I could see it actually passing $10. That could happen by end of year. That could happen sometime in 2022, but I do think that's very likely to happen over the next year or so. So this is definitely very bullish news that I do want to discuss. 62% of institutions to start investing in crypto within the next year. That is a very short time period for such a high percentage here. 62% piling billions of dollars into the crypto space, Bitcoin, Ethereum, possibly other top 10 cryptos soon. So regardless, when Bitcoin and Ethereum are in a general uptrend, that's going to help the entire crypto space rise together. And that's when we start seeing the small cap altcoins pumping and doing 10 to 100x in a short period of time. We've had dozens of 100x's over the last year. And I don't think this current bull market is over yet. And I do think there's tons of opportunity out there. You just have to know where to look, and you have to be ahead of the herd to really get those massive return on investments. But at the same time, being ahead of the herd like that is also taking a huge risk, because you're getting in very early and you have no idea if it's going to pivot or if it's just not going to pick up traction. So you are taking that risk, but there's much higher reward as well. That's really where I like to put most of my time and focus into, is looking through those small cap altcoins and brand new NFT projects. That's where you're finding huge return on investment. So this is massive, 62% of institutions. That's going to cause a surge of demand. And if we do have institutional FOMO, we're going to get retail FOMO again as well. That's where we're going to have a super cycle with Bitcoin breaking $100,000. So this could happen by end of year. I think more likely to happen in 2022. I have been saying I'm more bullish on 2022 mid to end year next year than I am for end of this year. But I do think another rally is coming by the end of this year. But so much mass adoption is in the works and so many things happening that I do think it's going to take some time to play out before we really see the major peak of institutional and retail FOMO again. So this is very interesting news. Facebook announcing a $50 million investment fund tasked with developing its virtual metaverse. So we have a lot of projects building out their own metaverse, which is great for the adoption of crypto and NFTs. And as this really starts picking up and some platforms like this really get huge with millions of users, that's when I think we're going to be peaking in the NFT space. Everyone's saying we already peaked. I don't think they know what they're talking about. And I think we're at the very beginning here. A lot of these NFT projects are creating their own metaverse version of their NFTs, 3D models that you can use in virtual reality. As you guys know, Facebook created the Oculus, which is going to be huge. Having a metaverse virtual reality. I do think a lot of these metaverses will intertwine with each other as well. So very interested to see where this is headed over the next couple of years. $50 million fund here. So we have institutional investors bought the dip as China FUD broke out. So as you guys know, China has banned Bitcoin at least 10 times by this point, or at least something relating to cryptocurrencies. So this keeps happening. It's going to keep happening over the next few months. They're going to try to mess with cryptocurrency as much as possible because they are rolling out their own cryptocurrency, their digital yuan. So, of course, they're going to ban cryptocurrencies to enforce their citizens to use their cryptocurrency and keep that revenue within their country, just like they did with Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. They banned all these major platforms, and they have their own versions of these, which are basically complete copies of them and keeping that revenue in their country. So I really don't see why people are selling on this type of news now. I think people just do this that are day traders, expecting news like this to crash it, which does actually help crash the markets. So not really a huge effect that this did have, especially with some of this other panic we're having also. Really, the crypto space is actually holding up pretty strong. And I'm surprised we haven't actually dipped to around $38,000 yet and have made a recovery. So like I've been saying over the past couple weeks here, I do expect that dip, and that is the general sentiment in the space as well, before we break previous all-time highs, testing around $38,000 to $40,000. So we'll see how things play out here. Anything can really happen. Be very careful out there. Don't believe anyone that claims to know exactly what's going to happen or has an insider feeding them information. That's all just BS, and those type of people you should be extra cautious about. So we do have more institutions and banks looking into crypto as well. Morgan Stanley doubles their exposure to Bitcoin through Grayscale shares, which is huge. Obviously, if they see good potential to double their exposure, that does mean they see high potential with high profits in the short term. So the investment firm has increased its shares of GBTC by more than 105% since April. So they are buying the dip here. Great to see this. Morgan Stanley has stated they will release their own crypto services eventually once there's more mass adoption. They do need to see a lot more users, but obviously they see the potential here. They are starting to slowly get involved, just like PayPal is, just like JP Morgan here is as well, and other major companies around the world. So JP Morgan CEO says Bitcoin price could rise 10x, but still won't buy it. So personally, obviously the CEO of JP Morgan would be a conflict of interest if he did buy Bitcoin, but seeing as he is optimistic about this, doing a 10x is pretty huge from the current price. That's around a $400,000 to $500,000 Bitcoin, and he is claiming he can't see that very possible. Personally, I see that very possible as well. I do think that will take at least a year or two to play out, and I really don't think we're going to have bear markets that are extended 3 to 4 years like we previously have. And I do think with all this mass adoption happening going forward, things are going to be much different going forward. And I think people that try to follow the previous market cycles are really going to screw themselves over in the near future. So this is good to see. I do think JP Morgan is getting involved as well. They probably will have their own services relating to cryptocurrency as there's more mass adoption. Like I stated, they do need to see a lot more users before they roll this stuff out, because they will get a lot of backlash. They do need to see a quick benefit from this once they roll out their services, because they do have major investors that they do need to keep happy. But regardless, this is great that they're optimistic about it and starting to slowly creep into it. So last for today, we do have Coinbase diving deeper into banking by letting users deposit paychecks into their account. So Coinbase has really been branching out as much as possible, really pushing as many new crypto services as they can. Lots of awesome stuff that they are working on, giving people great alternatives, options to earn some passive income, better than they would get in a traditional banking account, where the banks end up using their money and only paying them a small fraction of a percent. Whereas Coinbase, you're earning over 4%, or a platform like BlockFi where you're lending out, earning 5 to 8% on your crypto and stable coins. So these are huge options that people are becoming aware of. Earning this type of passive income isn't going to last. So taking advantage of this now, I do recommend that. And like I said, you can take advantage of that with the link in the video description for BlockFi, and get a pretty good Bitcoin bonus signing up with that as well. So that's it for today's news. Some pretty big updates here. I will have another update coming as well that's pretty interesting, and I will be talking about NFTs more. I'm actually getting into a couple new NFT sets over the next week here, so I will be letting you guys know about that right off the bat. And I am working on my own NFT set, actually multiple sets, a couple that will be airdropped to the first set that I will be launching here in October. Be very careful of scammers. I will only announce this here on my official YouTube and on my official Twitter account. Anywhere else or any set you find on OpenSea is going to be fake beforehand, and do not buy that. There's already scammers impersonating me, pretending it's my NFT set. So just be very careful of that. There are going to be scammers out there with every single set in the NFT space. As every space grows, more and more scammers come around, and they keep getting more clever and finding better ways to scam people. So you do have to be very careful. So that's it for today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Don't forget to follow my Twitter. I am doing weekly giveaways here that are pretty big now. Pretty much 5 to 10 grand in value per giveaway, and I'm doing these about once per week at this point. I do have a couple of good NFT giveaways lined up for the next couple weeks, so definitely follow here. I'm doing regular giveaways. I also post here pretty much every single day on my thoughts on the markets, breaking news, altcoins, and NFT sets that I am coming across. You can also check out the comments here on some of these posts and find some great sets as well.
We are investigating.
For instance, if you're given $1 million to put into one crypto that you had to hold for 1 year minimum, which one would you pick? Lots of great responses here, so definitely check that out. See what people are most bullish on for the long term. Great way to get an idea of what retail investors are looking into at this point. So again, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video.